All right. Welcome to the St. Louis podcast for October 6th, 2023. I'm your host today, Eric Brown. Sitting alongside me, Katie Baker. Today we have Rage and Casey of One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market on the St. Louis podcast. We're going to get in the weeds with them. But before we do, this is the St. Louis podcast where each and every Friday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, we drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms. Please give us a listen there. And as always, if you're listening now, feel free to give us a review, thumbs up, thumbs down if you don't like the video as well. Leave a comment. Let us know. We appreciate you guys. All right, now let's jump into it. Rage and Casey, how you guys doing today?
I'm doing good.
Doing really great, yes.
Well, we're happy to have you on the podcast today. So like I said, you guys are here representing One Africa, One Nation, really for the St. Louis location. We learned a little bit more kind of about you guys before we got started, but let's focus first on just One Africa, One Nation in North City. You know, give us a little bit background around it. What is it? You know, how can people support you?
Yeah, so the One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market is a project of the Black Power Blueprint, which is a revitalization effort put forward by the African People's Education and Defense Fund here in North St. Louis. Instead of, allowing redevelopers to come in and gentrify North City, the Black Power Blueprint takes abandoned, vacant lots, dilapidated buildings, and rebuilds them and places, programs, and institutions that benefit the community and into the community.
Mm-hmm.
And the farmers market specifically is designed to fight food apartheid by building relationships with Black farmers and vendors and host, regular markets in an area where the closest farmers market is 3 miles away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it requires travel on the interstate. So it's bringing fresh produce grown by Black farmers, and the market allows the community to meet the farmers and continue to grow from there and build Black community controlled food production.
Yeah.
I just really want to shout out Rage, who did an incredible job leading the third year of the market. It was definitely the best year, because it's hard to grow a market in St. Louis. There's already really established markets here.
Mm-hmm. There are, yeah.
And, we had a market at O'Fallon Park, and when we did outreach, people wouldn't even believe us, And so I just really appreciate, this movement and the market team for making this happen, because the feedback of the farmers and the vendors and the people are that it's a really critical thing that's happening in the North Side.
Yeah. I was just going to add that the North Side, it's like one of our farmers said, like, it's the forgotten people. And in a way it is, you can go down West Florissant and see the remnants of like a thriving business district almost.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now it's just rubble. And so O'Fallon Park and the whole North Side kind of have a reputation of being, a violent, poverty-stricken area.
Yep.
So by us building this market, it really changes, the environment and the landscape of that part of the city.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but really, it seems like the whole argument online, let's just go online real quick, is like, it's one side versus the other. But really, when you get down to it, the only way to make any change is to make change locally and where you can actually affect it, right? Because then if you have enough people making change locally, then that actually can affect, what can happen, say, statewide or nationally and things like that. So, definitely appreciate you guys, having that vision behind you, because it's even, just I would say healthy food in general is on attack right now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that ridiculous Los Angeles, like, I forget, it was about food and food health. Mm-hmm. And they were showing that it doesn't matter like what the food is, and as long as it wasn't poison, it was like good for you. And it was shouting out cereals and, and all of this other stuff. And I'm just like, how does this make any sense for really what we want our children to be raised up with? I would think would be healthy food.
Right.
Yeah, no, the food industry wants a certain PR campaign about that, because it really
100%.
is, all of it is such poison, and it it disproportionately impacts the Black community, which is targeted, and it's really important that people have repair our relationship with food, know where it comes from, learn how to grow it, and have food that actually has nutrients that will help combat all these diseases that are created by this food system that we currently have to deal with.
100%. No, I'm with you on that. Yeah. No, food. I mean, we've been under attack by the food industry for a long time. And that commercial just kind of proved it. It's like, this doesn't make any sense for, if there was any sort of good person in that organization, they'd been like, I don't know if this really makes a lot of sense for what we're trying to get out. But I mean, even back in school, I don't know if it was kind of the same with you guys. I'm 30 years old, and not to like really crap on the generation that, grew us up, but I don't think they had a good relationship with food. They didn't know, right? Because they just saw commercials on TV. They were like marketed to. So I grew up with like Eggo waffles, syrup every morning and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, now looking back at it, it's like we can do a lot better. Like growing food, like in your backyard, for example. So a lot of these businesses, they're growing, local produce. So are a lot of them grow, like, is there a place locally for them to grow this stuff? Like, is there, I know, for example, in like Kirkwood Park, they have like an area to grow stuff. So is that something that's available for them too?
A lot of our farmers, the farmers that have participated in our market are either have their own farm or growing in their backyard or at a community garden. A lot of the produce that we got for our free produce giveaways, it came from our community garden, the Gary Brooks Black Power Community Garden, as well as Tony Rushing. He was one of the farmers that worked with us. He grew food in his backyard as well as a community garden. And then Mitch Pearson, he supplied, so much produce to us. And he has a 13-acre farm out in Spanish Lake. So really, people are just working with whatever they have access to and are making sure that they can feed the people. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to grow. It's actually, I don't know why people aren't more self-reliant, like growing that kind of stuff just in your own backyard and try it. Like, it's not that difficult to grow like green beans and things like that, like in your backyard. And you'd be amazed. I don't know. It's almost like you grow it in your backyard. Then it's like, is this like safe to eat? Is this gross? But you don't ask that from the green beans you buy at the grocery store. And I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
That just shows the disconnection between people and the land, And we are a society that has become reliant on the most convenient option. So you were saying you grew up on Eggos, Well, I grew up on macaroni and cheese from the box. And it's just so good, like, it's whatever is most convenient in our society. And because we don't get that instant gratification, it seems like a waste of time. But this is like truly a path toward freedom, being able to grow your own food. You're completely self-reliant on how you get your fuel to be able to go and do what you need to do every day.
Well, especially eating food grown locally. That's a big thing. And, I was, one of our clients is a farmer here that grows like cows and different things. And I was talking to them about like the difference just in like the meat, like USDA versus like pasture raised, meaning like they're just raised on a pasture. They eat, what's there. They're not being fed full of different things that are not going to be good for you moving forward. But it's, obviously the problem with that, and maybe it's really not a problem, is it's almost, you look at it, it actually wasn't. Actually, I lie. It was about the same price as going to Fresh Time. Because I was thinking about it, because the problem is usually if you go to like a butcher, you buy by weight versus, anyways, it doesn't matter. So versus like the thickness of the cut.
Right.
So I was just thinking about it. I was like, actually, maybe it's a better deal. But, growing meat and eating meat here grown locally versus like even companies like, Butcher Box. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Where they, deliver meat straight to your door and they're supposed to be like super healthy, but all of their meat's grown in Australia.
Right.
So
it's shipped and
halfway
processed
across the world. Yeah. So eating food grown locally is super important. I mean, same thing with like honey is a big thing, right? That's always talked about for like allergies.
Yes.
All honey's not necessarily good. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
One of our farmers, actually, Jessica Dumaine, is also a beekeeper.
Yeah.
I love it.
vended at the last market and
It was her
sold out
first
of her
time.
honey.
Yeah.
It was her first time vending actually, and she came to the market and sold out. And I was actually wondering if we could take a moment to shout out all the farmers that we featured in our
Absolutely.
souvenir
Yeah.
booklet, because I want people to
Yes.
know about them, because we're talking about, the solutions grow in food. And if you don't know how, there's resources out
Right.
there,
Yes.
but they're not put out in enough ways. So that's why we're really appreciative that we could be on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ray, you want to
Yeah.
shout them out?
Absolutely.
So I want to shout out Michael Harris from the Clarence Community Garden, Mr. Gary Brooks. We have the Black Power Garden in honor of him. George Washington Carver Farms was founded by Nick Speed. That's just like right down the street from our garden. Growing Food, Growing People is founded by Leah Lee Burnett, and she does a free veggie giveaway Tuesdays from 5 to 7 on the corner of Hamilton Avenue and Maple Avenue. We want to shout out Haru Urban Farming. We want to shout out New Roots Urban Farm, founded by Antoine Adams, Julia Thompson from Julia's Farm STL. I already said Mitch Pearson from Phi Global Farms, Rustic Roots Sanctuary, founded by Janet Lewis, and Tony TNT Gardening, which was founded by Tony Rushing. And there's actually like still more and more farmers out there that we haven't even connected with, and just want to really grow this network as big as we possibly can, because it just means more and more food for the people.
Absolutely. What are your guys' hours? What are the hours there?
So our office is Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 p.m. And they can go to our website, oneafricamarket.com, and hit us up there. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. So they can just reach out to us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, of course, one thing that I did want to point out with all those businesses, and of course, it's awesome that people are also starting their own businesses, right? We talked about growing food and being self-reliant, but also being self-reliant in terms of owning your own business is awesome too.
Yeah.
And seeing, Black-owned businesses opening up is amazing.
Yeah.
We need more of that. We need more of anyone that's willing to open a business and, that's willing to put in the work. We really need that, because I think, there's an attack on small business right now.
Yeah.
I think the powers that be don't want small businesses in the long term. I think they all just want us, essentially, for the lack of a better word, sucking from the government and being all reliant on them.
Completely dependent on them.
Yeah. So again, shout out those businesses. Hopefully we can get a reel of those guys, and we'll post that. And of course, oneafricamarket.com. Go ahead on there and visit them as well.
The website, actually, we updated it this season, and it has a list of the 67 businesses that we worked with this year. And so if you're hosting an event or like some kind of festival or fair, we want people to go to our website to find the vendors and book them too. And we want their business to grow. That's why we did interviews with them this season to put on our social media and tag them. And we made the souvenir booklet, and a lot of them got ads. So, people can get these books and maybe find a Black-owned business in St. Louis that they didn't know about. Get you a massage with DeFrance Elegance, or one of our vendors that sold body scrubs is also a doula. And it's offering 50% off doula services for women on government assistance.
Okay.
So, it was just, my favorite part of the whole working with this market for the last 3 years was meeting all these Black-owned businesses.
For her.
Awesome.
I got a connection for her.
That's
I got a
great.
connection. Yep.
Yes. No, it's crazy because it's all coming. The last 3 years has been such an incredible journey seeing the market grow. And we have one more this season. And
so that's what I was going to say.
We saw that.
Yeah. Tell us what's going on. October 28th. Tell us about the event.
So for the last 3 years, APDF has put on a Halloween festival for the community so that kids in the North Side can participate in Halloween in a safe way. This year, we're going to have DJs. We have zombie yoga, zombie musical chairs. We're going to be doing a giveaway, costume contests, and we'll have food, and just, it's going to be a really good time for the community to come together and connect. Tons of candy, of course.
Yeah,
we need people to donate candy, actually.
Yeah.
We got you.
We have a call for people to come to our office and bring bags of candy. because we want to, because we give it out to all the kids.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll donate some money for some candy.
Hey,
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Yeah, 'cause
100%.
we're trying to. We actually went to
size only.
Yes. Okay. That's what I'm talking
I'll go
about.
to Costco.
We went to Gallery 6 Cinema with our donation letter and a flyer, and they donated 8 movie tickets for one of the
Awesome.
winners
We're
of the
trying to get a
costume
couple
contest.
bikes, a TV, and a tablet to give away to some youth and families in our area. So it really just is a fun time for anybody to come out and have fun on Halloween.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So listeners, you heard it. If you can, donate. And of course, if you can, go on October 28th, make your way out to O'Fallon Park Boathouse. Sounds like a good time.
Yes.
So-
Our DJs are awesome too. By the way, DJ R, shout out to DJ R, and also Madman. Tim Moore is like an amazing musician that is in so many bands and makes so much music with so many artists across St. Louis.
And they've donated their time to be a part of this festival.
Yeah, with the grant
awesome.
being up, this is a 100% community funded effort, this last market, and just really appreciate people that, volunteer, that donate to make it happen, because it's really about the kids.
Yes. So you said the USDA grant
Yes.
is about to be up.
Yes.
It's up.
It's up.
Oh, it is up.
It's up.
Yeah.
So do you guys have now, I guess, the funding that you need to run on your own, or?
We're
working on it.
We're working
Okay.
on it. We
Okay.
created a t-shirt.
Okay.
So you can purchase a t-shirt for $25 that says One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market, Ending Food Apartheid. And that's all the proceeds from those t-shirts are going to fund next year. Basically, at this point, it's all on us to keep the market going.
Okay.
So we need as much support as possible.
We are applying. I believe that, the nonprofit is applying for another grant, but those are just never for sure.
Yep.
Right.
And they're really hard to get, honestly, especially for Black farmers in Missouri. It's been a fight. So.
There's a lot of requirements that come along with having a grant. So it's not like they just give you the money and you get to do what you want. You have to meet these certain standards. We had to get 20,000 flyers out. We had to reach 5,000 households.
20,000 flyers?
Yes.
We did it, though.
We
That
did
was
it.
that was a requirement?
That was a
Yeah.
requirement.
Holy shit.
We had to have at least 5 farmers involved in our market. And this year we had 7.
Mhm.
We had to keep track of how much money the vendors made, all of that. And in order to, prove to the USDA that this market was necessary. And of course it's necessary. It's in an area where there's nothing else but chicken shacks, and Chinese food restaurants.
Yeah.
And that food is killing us, as we already said earlier. But
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff you want to eat occasionally.
yeah.
Not every day.
Yeah.
The youth in the area don't get to see something like a farmer's market happening right there,
Right.
So it shouldn't take a bunch of reports and statistics but that is the reality, and that's how we're going to fight to keep the market funded. And also, with or without the grant, we just really want to keep it going and do anything we can to support Black farmers. And now, we're still continuing to work with Mitch and Tony, and Tony's going to get some beds over on Maffet and start growing garlic there.
Awesome.
And
Yes.
and he wants to do it because not a lot of other people will, because of where it is. So again, it's this stigma against the north side.
Yeah.
When really it's just been starved, and just needs food and love and power. So
Okay. So we need some support again. Support him if you can.
yes, donate on the website.
Yes, yes. Because it's like I said before, it's super important. And obviously, with something like you guys are doing, it's not like someone else can just come in and do it. It's not like someone else is going to come in and do it.
They're not.
So yeah.
That's real.
I know. You know what I mean? So we need to make sure you guys are successful. So
Yeah.
as far as, kind of your guys' personal connection to this, why'd you guys get involved?
I mean, I grew up, struggling with food. My family has struggled with food scarcity. And then I became a parent who struggled with food scarcity. So when my kids were young, I wanted to figure out how to be more self-sufficient. You get a job and you automatically get your food stamps cut off, and it's often without warning. It's often at the worst possible time. So how do we solve these contradictions, we take the power back into our own hands. And growing food, the ability to feed, clothe, and house yourself.
Yep.
That's what you need to be able to do to not be dependent on the state.
Right.
And that's something that has always been within me. And so this market, the mission, is to provide access to fresh, healthy food by connecting with Black farmers and vendors to build community commerce in the city. And that's right along with my values and everything that I've experienced personally as a Black person trying to get through the world, trying to raise kids, and food's becoming an issue for so many communities right now. And we just don't know that we can solve this problem on our own.
Yeah. Yeah. You were going to add something, I know.
Well, just for me, like it was the opposite experience growing up. I always had what I needed to eat and to live, and that is because I'm a white person in America. And like, that's the reality, is that white people have a totally different relationship to this system. And that, this system is now, it's been impacting us too. And the solution is like unity through reparations and supporting the communities that have been starved and neglected, that have allowed us to benefit. And so I think it's really important to give over time and resources to be in solidarity with the struggle to end food apartheid in the Black community, because knowing that, like, for me to have my reality, like the starvation has to exist, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it's about righting the historic wrongs.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really happy about, getting to work for APDF. And just want to shout out Deputy Onezene Yeshatella, who's the director
and board president of the African People's Education and Defense Fund. Yeah,
for leading these programs and giving people from all walks of life the ability to support what is really like the core contradiction in society.
Yeah, and something you guys both really hit on is like community, and I think it's something that every community, we're becoming less and less personable, right?
Yeah.
I feel like back in the day, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of 90s nostalgic Instagram reels lately, and it's been making me feel a certain way. And it's almost like now with the internet and things like that, the personal connection you used to even have with your neighbors, people that live around you, your community isn't there. And it makes it that much harder to make that change in the community when those people don't know each other, and therefore they really don't care about each other, right?
We don't care about each other. We don't trust each other. It's really just a mentality that you got to keep your head down and work hard and you'll do all right. But it's like none of us can exist without the other.
Exactly. Yeah. And if one group of people, like what I think is some people misunderstand is that if one group of people or if multiple groups of people are hurting and they're in the United States, it hurts everyone else regardless.
Yeah.
Right? It still affects you out in West County, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or wherever you're at.
Exactly.
And it still affects you. So there needs to be a lot more community driven just initiatives in general, I think. And I don't I even think it's missed in areas that people are well-to-do too.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think those people also aren't, maybe they have their friends, but they're not getting together with other people in the community. And I think that hurts too.
They're not doing okay.
Yeah.
We all need a serious therapy for what this system has done to us. It's really done a number on us. And mental health is connected to food health. And that's why we are okay with eating this stuff that we don't know where it comes from. It's again, going back to what you're talking about, is why do people just grow their own food? It's not that hard. Either just too tired from this economy that is hard to survive in,
100%.
or just, don't even have the desire to really learn how to do it, to take care of ourselves.
Well, if no one pushes you to do it.
Exactly.
That's how a lot of that stuff happens. It's not like, you can say it all day long, but some people are going to take the initiative. But other times, you have to either push people or be like, hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to do this too?
Yeah.
And things like that to get the word out and people to take action. So you guys have the Halloween festival, October 28th. Do you guys do anything for Christmas as well?
We have.
Do you have anything planned?
We have a volunteer appreciation party called the Heart and Soul Appreciation Party, because volunteers are the heart and soul of our movement.
Yeah.
That's November
I'm not sure when it's going to be.
I believe.
Sometime in November.
We have a few little pop-up things that we're doing, but we're doing a lot of tabling and outreach, trying to win people to help support us with donations and everything so that we can keep going with this market.
Yeah.
So the market is one of the programs of the Black Power Blueprint, like Rage was saying.
Could you guys explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so the Black Power Blueprint is the project of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, which is the nonprofit that drives this work and is led by Onezene Yeshitela, the president and director. And
we call her the architect of the Black Power Blueprint.
She is, because she actually was raised in St. Pete, and the story is that she was tasked with expanding the work she was already doing there with APDF, which in St. Pete has like a bakery and a radio station, all Black community driven, to have, independent food production and media. And, came to St. Louis for 2 weeks and then ended up moving here to build. And the movement had already been here in the wake of the Mike Brown uprising, and really wanted to stay and fight and build here. St. Louis is a really critical city, in terms of the struggle of African people all over the world. It has this rich history. And so, the Black Power
Blueprint. St. Louis isn't great.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, or if you're just a slow roller, we know you the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE. Career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today, right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.
Now back to the show.
Yeah, it's
and don't they have the exhibit in the History Museum, I believe.
Yeah.
Do they still have that exhibit?
I'm not sure.
They used to have it like forever. And it goes over pretty much everything that segregated and divided and pushed everyone that way. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a book called, I think, The Broken Heart
of America.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's about Missouri and St. Louis and, and the history of colonialism here and of slavery and genocide of the indigenous people. And it's just something that, we have to grapple with and like heal in order to move forward, because that's part of the attack on the whole planet, and the environmental crisis. And this market and the Black Power Blueprint. I was going to say, the garden, the Gary Brooks Black Power Community Garden is another program, and it's very much connected to the market in the sense that
this is how we get some of our produce that we give away. The produce is also given away at the market. Go ahead.
And there's 2 volunteer days coming up that people can come out to.
Okay.
They got the Black Power Blueprint got a Bright Side grant to plant native trees and plants.
Yes.
And also,
So you guys are going to be planting trees?
yes,
Yes.
Are
this
they going to
Saturday.
be? Are you guys going to have to dig the holes for them?
Yes.
I landscape, so that's why I asked. I planted a bunch of trees back in the day.
Come out to the volunteer day.
Yeah,
we
it's on
need your help.
Saturday.
Yeah, when are those?
The Saturday mornings.
Yes,
Okay.
so October 7th and October 14th,
Okay.
we'll be out in the garden at 9 a.m. And the garden is located at 4031 West Florissant Avenue.
Yeah,
Okay.
West Florissant and Alice.
Okay.
You know, the whole West Florissant corridor that's being redeveloped by the Black Power Blueprint.
Yeah, some of the other programs are the Uhuru Wakalia African Women's Health Center. We have the African Doula Project. We're also in the process of developing Black Power Square, which is going to be a Black business incubation site
Awesome.
where
I love that.
folks can rent a shipping container to get their store started.
Mhm.
We also have the Uhuru House Community Center, which has community meetings that anybody can attend every Sunday from 3 to 5. We do a karamu, which is a potluck. And we also have the Caribou outdoor venue. It's an outdoor stage in the Gary Brooks Black Community Garden. We have the Black Power Vanguard basketball court, which will have a youth basketball program. There's so many programs in the works, and they're all meant to forward Black self-determination and self-reliance.
Do you guys have anything in the future that you're working on? Any new developments? Any new builds you guys are trying to get pushed forward out there?
Well, a lot of what Rage was talking about actually
It's
is
in progress.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
all those
okay.
the basketball court has been built, and that took like 2 years of fundraising alone.
Yeah.
But then the
I don't
health
think a basketball court's expensive.
It is
Yeah.
very.
I was
gonna say,
and this
yeah.
basketball court is state of the art.
Okay,
It is
okay,
it's so nice.
It's really beautiful, yeah. But the health center and the Square Business Development Center are both things that are
Okay.
in
in the
progress.
future and
There's
need
also
your support.
Gonna
Yeah.
be a bakery and cafe, Jiko, which means kitchen in
Yeah.
Swahili. All of our projects have African names, and that's part of us reclaiming our African identity. And so, Jiko, it will be a place where African workforce participants can come and learn culinary skills. And then we have the Mafundi Lake African Independence Workforce Housing Center, which is a fourplex that was redeveloped by the Black Power Blueprint, which we just launched like last month.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to have like short-term stays in there, or is it long-term, or how is that going to work?
I'm
for
not
those?
100%
Okay.
sure how
Okay.
that part of the program is going to work,
Okay.
but essentially folks coming out of the prison system will be able to participate in this program and have housing and workforce development. And it's not just the kitchen, like there'll be trainings around like even the stuff that we do, like outreach and marketing and not just culinary, but like office work, office skills, office reception work and stuff like that. Just any type of job skills that we can teach people so that they can continue to thrive once they get out of that system.
Yeah. I mean, teaching skills, that's like the one thing you get paid for. So that makes a lot of sense to build skills.
Yes.
It's always funny when someone comes out of college and they have a degree, but they have no skills.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know, it's a big thing right now.
It
I feel like
is.
with our younger generation, it's like we get owed X, Y, and Z. But then you look up to the people that have been working for like 50, 60, or like 30 years.
Yeah.
It's like, you haven't put your time in yet.
There's also so much you just don't learn in a regular school.
You don't?
yeah.
Yeah, no.
You know?
I would say 99% of what I know about business was from literally just starting it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trial and error going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Actually, and one of the farmers, Mitch, he has a program at 2 schools, Nance Elementary, and what was the other one in North County?
Glasgow Elementary?
I believe so, where he's gonna, showing yesterday actually Rage and I went with him to show about 40 students what compost is and why it's good for, the soil and growing plants.
Planted some collard greens.
Showed them about fertilizer.
So this is what I'm talking about.
I never learned any of that.
I know. Yeah.
I wasn't taught that in school.
I know. No, that's
never learned that.
why. That's why I want to do it now, because I'm like, why didn't anyone teach me?
Well, we learn a lot of ridiculous shit in school. We spend a lot of time.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Why do we have to take? I understand like language art. I just. It's insane that we spend 8 hours a day in school for however long we're in school for, and we don't learn basic shit.
Basic things that you need to know to survive in this world.
How about changing a tire on your car?
Or like how you ought to change your oil. Or like changing the filter.
Changing your oil's hard now, but Back in the day it was easy. I used to do it in my car, but now you can't even change your damn oil.
One of my personal finance classes in high school, all we did was watch Shark Tank. Those were our lessons.
Oh no. No,
that's why my finances are so bad. I never learned.
Yeah.
Whoever did that to you, we need to find them and take.
But at the time, I loved the class because I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
that's insane. My personal finance class was balance a checkbook, so I didn't learn
didn't
anything. Nothing about credit I learned in school. That's all just reading.
But do you even use a checkbook anymore?
I don't write checks.
That's what I mean. So you don't even have a checkbook. You just know how to manage.
I didn't know how to write a check until like last year.
No. That's bad. That's the school system messed up there.
I manage
nobody
finances through
nobody really uses them though. Checks anymore.
I don't even know where my checkbook is.
Exactly.
I still write checks. What are you talking? What
do you write checks for?
Sometimes
rent half my bills. Like they still accept checks.
Well, that's why I had to learn how to do it last year. They didn't have online. It was checks.
I have ACH withdrawal for. Shouldn't there be ACH? Anyways.
There's a credit card.
Now we're just going down the weeds. Okay.
No, but I mean, I learned a lot about, I honestly feel very inspired to start my own business someday, like with seeing the vendors and learning a lot about what it takes to build the business and the branding and the work and the connections they make with people, and just really appreciate the vendors this season that were able to, even if the markets were slower, because it's, like I said, it's hard to build a market right in the center of a food apartheid location.
Inflation and everything else.
Especially with people like, Soulard is like so much a part of people's routines. It was a part of mine when I moved. I've gone to Soulard for like 4 years straight until we started this market. But, just the work that goes into having your own business and
being able to budget and manage your finances is something that you definitely learn how to do trying to be a business owner.
Yeah, and it can be really scary, but like the market brings people together to network and learn from each other. So it's very much like community-based commerce, cooperative economics.
Cooperative economics.
Yeah, I really think we need a new food system and economic system that's based on real health needs, real human needs, Black power, and healing the earth.
Yeah.
Well, if we could get most of our food from farmers markets, it's locally grown, we wouldn't have to rely on Tyson chicken and all these other massive corporations that sell food that's probably not good for us and definitely probably don't care about their employees either. So it's like, why do we want to support these companies?
And the impact these massive chains have on the communities that their literal buildings exist in. Where does all the waste go from those slaughterhouses? What do they do with all of those things? And how does it impact the people that have to live around all of that?
Well, we know that. What was the creek up in
Mill Creek Valley, or what is it?
What's the creek that got a bunch of people sick up in the north side?
I know what you're talking about.
From the garbage, from the waste management. Have you seen that? Have you seen the documentary?
Yeah, I remember like actually going to some of those meetings. I don't know if I got the name right,
Did
but
the
I know
EPA
what you're
ever
talking
give money?
about. I don't think so.
Sure.
I don't even think they gave money.
But that's like not even an isolated incident, I've heard of these things called like pink ponds where like the waste from the slaughterhouses is just poured out into these fields and simply walking by them, you can die from inhaling the toxic fumes. And the majority of the communities that live around those spaces are Black and Indigenous communities. So these people are being experiencing all of these health issues as a response to the environment that they are forced to live in. So building a market like this and building it and expanding it to where the community can get all of their needs in one place, we no longer have to rely on Tyson chicken or, all these, what is it, Smithsonian, I don't know, whatever. All
like
these
three
meat
food companies,
it's just
P&G,
three guys.
If you look up like the food companies, there's like 3 companies that own them.
Right. And just like literally killing the planet, so we can have chicken.
Yeah, with these monocultures, like they'll take away the biodiversity of a whole territory, in Ecuador, just to plant the same seed. And that, and it's miles, hundreds of miles away, but we all live on the same earth and everything is interconnected and it's poisoning us. So like the key is to heal. And I feel like the Black community struggle for power and, the nonprofits fighting for African self-determination and the Black farmers that are leading the way. For real. We need to follow them and support them with all of our efforts.
Yes.
So as far as, let's just say I want to buy one thing. Only one thing. What's the one thing you would buy if you went?
To the
food. Oh my God, that's so hard.
Always food for me.
What's the one food you would buy then? What's the one thing you would buy?
Well, no, I mean, I guess this is an opportunity to shout out some of our food vendors because Sadiq from Way Too Fresh Eats makes watermelon pizza.
What?
And vegan options out of completely fresh food.
He does weird kind of fusions. Like, it's a watermelon with like fruit as the topping and like a little sauce, and you cut it into pizza shapes.
Interesting.
And
that sounds delicious.
It's delicious. Like a vegan cream sauce that he makes, and then like nuts and berries on top of it. It's so refreshing. It's so delicious.
DeAndre's Kitchen, I met him outside of Mississippi Underground over at downtown, and he was vending for a rave, and I gave him the market flyer, and he
came to our vendor orientation.
He started bringing his truck, and he's kind of like He'll make off menu stuff for you. Yeah. I'm like, I'm vegan, so I'm like, can you just make me a dank vegan wrap? And like, it never failed. I was always like, this is the best vegan wrap ever. I don't even know what's in it. It was this bean, zucchini. There's a lot happening. And potatoes, and then Tumpe. She's an amazing vegetarian chef and did a cooking demo on how to make tuna fish out of carrots and was talking about the health benefits.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, like a tuna salad, but like using
with shredded carrots.
And the way you flavor it is the key. But also just talking about the health benefits of carrots and juicing them. And so, the market also incorporated, in addition to everything we talked about, like workshops so that people could leave with more skills and knowledge. And then we also, one of our farmers, Julia, did an animal husbandry workshop.
How to raise chickens.
She just finished building her coop.
Yes.
You don't even need that much area for
You don't
chicken.
need a lot for chicken.
No, you don't.
Yeah. You just have to, be committed to it.
Yes.
Right.
Is it that much upkeep?
I feel like it's not.
I know a couple people that have chicken. I've never really talked to them about it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how many you have. But when we were working with one of Mitch, like it was a lot to change their food and water.
Really?
Because you got to lift it up so that and not have none of them escape. And like I kept spilling the water. Maybe I'm just an amateur, but like I'm sure with time, like I'd get better and it wouldn't be that hard. But it was a struggle for me.
Yeah, you just have to have enough space for them to like move around freely, fresh water, fresh food. You can feed them fruits and vegetables. So you can feed them what you're growing in your garden. And then as opposed to, like we were saying, like some of these larger corporations will have thousands and thousands and thousands of birds and they have diseases. They die, And so like she's growing these birds in her backyard. She's tending to them every day. She's feeding them every day. It's just automatically 1,000 times better than what you're going to get from a store.
It's also better when you're eating like something that like you're growing yourself.
Yeah.
It gives you like a sense of
accomplishment.
So you're a vegan, but
I slaughtered a chicken at Mitch's farm like 2 weeks ago.
You're supposed to say processed now.
There's nothing better than like shooting a deer and then eating the deer meat. I don't know. It's like something that goes back like
it's your nature.
it's like thousands
our
of
nature.
years. Yeah, I mean it's used
to do
it's
this.
how we used to have to do it. Yeah,
Yes.
kill your own and cook your own meat.
And you don't kill in excess. You know, we're you can go into a store and buy as much as you want, but that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Well, I think if you like hunted or you like grow your own stuff, then you kind of realize, I don't know, like kind of what you're buying. Because like, going back to what you're saying about like the classes that you guys have, the other big thing is like eating healthy. It's just like saying that, it's like, what am I? What the hell do I eat then?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like what am I supposed to make? Right? Where I don't know how to make this stuff. How do I even eat healthy?
Right.
That's the other big thing. So that's great that you guys have those orientations and things like that, because that's the other big thing.
Yeah,
that was a huge benefit of working for the market this year. Was I feel like I ate better than ever. It's like I just had so much access to like the any of the extra produce we had left over, or just the farmers were able to bring a lot. Like sometimes doing food giveaways and still having leftovers at the end, even though there's such a need for it.
Yeah.
Not everyone could come out to every single giveaway, but like
almost every event we've done, we've been able to bring produce with us and get it to people who need it.
Even our vendor orientations and volunteer appreciation parties that we hosted throughout the market season, Julia would come by and bring tons of herbs and kale and vegetables, and and she would come sometimes from
kale is underrated.
Kale is so good.
Yeah.
I put it in smoothies and with some pineapple and apple and a little bit of cayenne.
Okay.
It's very good.
Okay.
It's very good. But yeah, no, I was able to make a whole stew with stuff from Julia's farm, and it really helped with when I had bronchitis. And just food.
That's the thing.
Food is the medicine. So
it can either kill you. Yeah, it can either kill you or it can help you to thrive.
Yeah.
So you get to choose.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the best thing to do, like eating healthy, is just eat the full spectrum of color.
Yeah.
Like make sure you're eating everything from the spectrum of
I'm
color.
not a vegan. I eat meat and I enjoy eating meat.
Yeah.
But it's all
you
about
can't take
balance.
away my steak. Yeah.
It's all about balance, and it's all about where your food comes from.
Yes. Yeah, I guess it's different if you're getting stuff from some sort of slaughterhouse versus a local farmer.
Right.
I think one's a little bit better than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
I helped to raise the chickens on Mitch's farm, and then at the end of the season, we all processed the chicken. And my son, he's 13. It was his 13th birthday, so he was with me.
Happy birthday.
We killed a chicken, each of us. And
I'm sure that was an awesome experience.
it was an
her.
amazing experience for him. Yeah, he really dug it, and we took that bird home and we made, a meal with it. And even my kids can taste the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, actually. Like, I met a farmer that actually vended once at our market, not as a farmer, but who makes the baked goods.
Yes.
And I met them actually working at a vegan restaurant together. But they have chickens and they started selling eggs, which I really support, because it's like if people are going to buy eggs, it should come from, again, like a farmer that has a healthy relationship with their chickens and hens, and that is doing it in a way that isn't so violent and
has
vile.
A respect for the animal. And, there's like a sanctity to the whole process of, getting the eggs from the chicken or getting the meat of the chicken. It's done with care, you know. It might be weird to say love, but it's...
No, it is.
No.
But yeah.
There's a lot of time and energy, and there is a relationship there.
Just like when you catch fish and eat fish. It's the same thing. It's like I just caught, like you almost like are like kind of connected. Yeah. In a weird way. Like, I don't know. It sounds stupid saying
no, it's not. Like, we're healing, y'all.
Yes.
Like it sounds weird because it's the right way and we've lived in the wrong way for so long, you know?
So like, and I went with my family. We went fishing. We caught a bunch of fish, and later that night, we cut them up and we cooked them. And it's like when you're cutting them apart and filleting them, it's almost like, all right, buddy. This was my pal for a little bit. Yeah. This was my pal.
I'm just grateful to
you. Thank you.
It's like, sorry to do this to you, but
yeah. Thank you. So as far as what's going on next season, do you guys have anything special going on that we haven't already talked about?
We know we're going to be in the park again.
Okay.
But at this point, we're really focusing on just trying to fund the season itself.
Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. So as far as sponsorships, I know you guys had some of those too. What does that kind of process look like? Do we shout out the sponsors? I don't think
we
we
should probably. So the USDA, obviously, for giving the grant, and we're really trying to get it again because you can see it's very critical and people want it to keep going.
Yeah.
And then MasterCard, Square, Cliff Bar have all been supporters of the Black Power Blueprint, and
Uhuru Foods and Pies, which is one of it's part of our organization.
It's one of the economic development initiatives of the movement to be self-reliant. And then Uhuru Solidarity Movement and International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement are mass organizations of the Uhuru movement that fight on the political front to, run candidates for office and just win ideas in the world about, having a just, healthy future, because we can't keep going the way things are now.
No.
The Black community must have justice. We just need a new food system. There's a lot to change.
Yeah, we talked about education. We talked about food. We talked about community. It always comes down to a few of the same things, right? And I feel like we have the discussion. A lot of people get it on the podcast. And I feel like for the most time, if we talk about it, we're fairly active in the community. And I meant to say networking is like a big portion of like kind of community-based things because, you go to the farmer's market, however often you're talking to the other vendors, the people that are buying from you, you build those relationships. And of course, those people help you build your business. I mean, we started the marketing company when I was 23. No one trusted me. I mean, the biggest thing I had to do was build essentially relationships and recognition. And that was primarily really done through networking. And I think that goes for most people, especially small business. If you're involved in the community, the best thing to do is just go talk to other people. Literally.
Yeah. Tony, one of our farmers, found a restaurant owner when he was vending at the market that he has tons of tomatoes and the restaurant owner needs to make pasta sauce. So
Wait, Tony's tomato?
No, I don't know if it was Tony's tomato, but Tony, one of our farmers is named Tony, and he grows a lot I don't think there's an affiliation with what you're talking about, but it's kind of funny. Yeah, beefsteak, heirloom, Roma, like he's definitely a tomato
guy.
Yeah. But
tomatoes
also
are hard to grow well.
One of my friends is a business owner in the Grove. Shout out to Crimson Serpent Outpost. It's a clothing store, and
Where are they at in the Grove? Where they're located?
Right by the City Greens Market, across from Gramophone. And he attended every market. He got an ad in our souvenir booklet. He donated candy to the Halloween festival. And he actually met a candle maker at the market, and he, expressed wanting to start selling her candles in his shop. So that's that networking that you're talking. Even if it's a slow day, you can make a connection at this market that could lead to a whole other opportunity.
100%. Yeah, and when someone is usually going to that type of event, they're more willing to help regardless.
Right.
They're also there for the same reason,
for the mission.
If you're all kind of there for the same, the same mission, you all have kind of the same goal. Makes everything a hell of a lot easier. Because it's like, okay, we're all, there's no arguing here. We're all on the same path. We all get it. What we're trying to do. So we got a couple more minutes here. As far as, you guys said that the first one was started in Philadelphia, correct, 20 years ago. Do you know if there's any, if you guys are trying to expand to any different cities right now or set up different areas?
In St. Pete, they're looking to start a market there as well.
Where is St. Pete?
St. Pete is in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg. My bad. We've been calling it St. Pete. Yeah. There's that's the location that has our Black Power 96 radio station. So they're looking to start a market there as well. And I think like for here, we're just hoping to expand. And the Philly market, like you said, has been going on for almost 20 years. And they have nearly 150 vendors at their market and take over an entire park. We want to get that big too.
Yeah, right now it's a section between the boathouse and the playground.
Yeah, and about 30 vendors every market. But, there's definitely potential to grow. And as more and more people participate in the market, the more money is made for the community. It's really about building community commerce and keeping our Black dollars in the Black neighborhood.
Yeah, the Tower Grove market is packed. last time I went. Like, it's crazy
Tower
packed.
Grove is, yeah, it's huge.
So we want to really want to replicate that, and just
in a sustainable
equalize
way.
the support, because there's a Del Mar divide, and the Tower Grove side has the resources. So we want to change people's minds and where their dollars go to have, more go towards the north side, because like, we can't neglect this majority Black neighborhood, that there's still people there that need food and schools, and
people who spend all their time and their energy building up another community that doesn't benefit, expending that labor doesn't benefit them.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm always like, don't go to Amazon and buy shit.
Yeah.
Buy from a local store.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you got like some toilet paper and things like that. Like, what are you going to go do? Go to a local store? I don't know a local store to go to buy that stuff, to be honest with you. But if you're buying, like, there's a ton of things you can buy that you go to your Amazon cart right now. If you wonder, look at the last 30 days or any other, or Walmart.com or wherever you shop, and see what you could have bought locally.
Yeah.
You'd probably be surprised.
Yeah.
And also, Walmart has no affiliation with you.
Right.
But if you go into a local business, they're going to know you.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're supporting that person and their family.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Instead of someone you don't know and a board of directors sitting in some conference room making $1 billion that don't give a shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yes, 100%. So before we get out of here, I mean, any last things from you guys? Shout out, obviously, go to the website, oneafricamarket.com, and any last words?
Just support Black farmers and vendors, support your community, support your neighbor trying to start a new business venture.
Yep.
Really, it's about community and coming together so that we can rely on each other instead of being dependent on the state.
Yeah, use your skills to organize fundraisers for, efforts like this, for the Black Power Blueprint. Come out to the Halloween festival. It's always the best market. Get dressed up. You could win
October
the costume
28th.
contest. This work is really critical, and it's about changing the world. And I just really want to appreciate Rage again and the whole team and APDF and y'all for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so before we get out of here, one last thing. Again, you just heard what they said. Go to the website, One Africa Market, follow them, show support online. If you can, there's a couple dates coming up to volunteer. If we could put those in the description, Matt, please. That way we can get some volunteers out to them and help them out. Again, community-based organizations are super important. We need as much help as we can. Like I've said a ton of times in the past, we're under attack as people. So we need to organize together. That's really the only way to, I think, make the country better. I don't know if we're going in the right direction right now. So appreciate you guys being on. Again, One Africa, One Nation Farmers Market. Let me wrap it up here. All right, so that's all the time we have for today. However, we will be back next week with a new episode, new guests, and unfortunately more of myself. Not Katie. Katie's always a treasure to have on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching live or later and we said something wrong, said something you hate, or said something you want to hear more about, you can visit us at thestlouispodcast.com, or feel free to message us on any of our social media platforms. Finally, shout out Half Coast Studios and Matt right behind me on the mic. If you guys can get a new chair so I don't have to sit in a broken one next time, that'd be great. But if you're looking to start a podcast or take a podcast to the next level, even if you're not local in St. Louis, they can help you distribute and record that stuff remotely. Again, pleasure, Rage and Casey. Thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you all again next week.
Hey there, St. Louis podcast listeners. We've got some exciting news from our sponsor, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Lee. Mark Lee of Farmers Insurance is recruiting agency owners here in St. Louis.
That's right, Garrett, and everyone knows what Farmers Insurance is, and if they don't, they will now.
Yes, it's kind of a household name. That said, as many of you know, a large part of our audience is made up of badass business owners, entrepreneurs, and top producing sales professionals with an open mind like yourself. Farmers Insurance is currently searching for driven individuals who aspire to own their own business or already own their own business and want to add another income stream to join the Farmers Insurance brand and own their own insurance agency.
This is a stellar opportunity to build your own insurance agency from scratch, take over an existing agency, Or if you're just a slow roller, we know you, the guys out there and ladies, get paid to train under an existing successful agency owner before starting your own.
Holy shit, Eric. That means that whether you have experience as a business owner or you've never heard the word business before in your life, there's a pathway to owning your own business through Farmers Insurance Agency led by Mark Lee.
That's right. You can become a Farmers Insurance business owner even if you've been homeless in the past, just like you.
Yeah, thanks.
If you've ever dreamt of being your own boss, building a team under a reputable brand, and making a difference in your community by offering top-tier auto, home, and commercial insurance to consumers and businesses in your area, Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, led by the godlike man himself, Mark Lee, has the perfect opportunity for you.
Visit insurancecareerstl.com to speak with Mark Lee, the district manager of Farmers Insurance of St. Louis, to become a Farmers Insurance agency owner today.
Did you hear that, St. Louis? Go visit insurancecareerstl.com. Insurancecareerstl.com. That is INSURANCE. Career, CAREERSTL.com.
To become a business owner today, again, one more time, visit insurancecareerstl, as in St. Louis.com today. Right now, this second, or reach out to us at stlouispodcast.com and we'll introduce you to Mark Lee ourselves. And I promise he won't spell out insurance and career to you.